Hello everyone. This video is on the nature of love. And love is something which spontaneously arises when we return back to our natural state of calm. And it's a natural state. So love is the state that is a primordial state. We came into this world, into our bodies, without any blocks to love. The blocks that arise to love, they kind of start to occur when we get fearful or things happen to us and we shut down. But we're very open. We're in a state of unity when we first enter our bodies. A baby can't tell the difference between itself and its outside world. So it's just like in this ocean of oneness. And then it starts to perceive itself as separate to the outside world. And that perception of us being separate to the outside world is the first wall towards feeling love for the other. Because if there's something separate to us, we can be afraid of what's separate to us. We can judge what's separate to us. We can think of ourselves as superior to what's separate to us. And so the idea of separation is the first block to love. And as we move through the kingdom and we spiritually awaken, the wall starts to be taken down. And when we start to meditate, some of the wall comes down. When we start to take care of ourselves, some of the wall comes down. When we devote ourselves to other people or causes that our heart space feels connected with, some of the walls come down. And it's a dismantling, a slow, steady dismantling of anything that gives us the illusion of separation. And when the illusion of separation is broken, the wall is taken down, then the oneness can return and the love spontaneously arises. And we do experience flashes of love through devotion to other people, through devotion to animals that we connect with, devotion to our children, to our partner, to anything really that opens the heart space. But it's like we're devoted to one thing but not the other. So there's still a separation. It's like, well, I'm devoted to my partner, but I'm not devoted to other people's partners, or I'm devoted to my dog or my cat or my guinea pig or my fish, but I'm not devoted to other people's fish or guinea pigs or dogs or cats. There's still this possessiveness or just direction that the devotion goes in. But as we expand in consciousness, the devotion stops being in just one or two or three or four or five lanes. It starts to seep into everything. And when it seeps into everything, we just feel that we can't do harm to anything else because it's like we're harming ourselves. And this arises spontaneously. It's not something that we work out, like, I'm going to try and love everybody when I secretly hate them, or I'm going to try and be devoted to this cause, but actually I couldn't care less. We can't force it. You can't force love. You can't force devotion. It just occurs through some graceful process, some non-physical, graceful process. We get blessed and we feel this unconditional love. And the love that I'm talking about, it doesn't have conditions. And the closest thing that humans often say is unconditional is the love for a child. The child can do whatever it wants. We won't abandon the child. Or our dog or cat or pet can do whatever it wants. We're not going to give it back to the pound or to the cattery if we have unconditional love for it. And unconditional love is quite rare, but when it happens, it's a real blessing because it connects us to who we truly are. Because, as I said before, when we first enter the body, we are unconditional beings. We're unconditional. We just see everything as ourself. And so then you might say, well, this seems really quite far-fetched, Aruna, and I don't see myself blending into everything else and loving everything else, and I'm really annoyed with this person, and actually I don't forgive that other person, and I don't feel connected to that group of people. That's fair enough. We don't need to just explode the wall right away through pretending that we are and have some kind of hippy dippy, let's pretend to love everybody. We can just accept this is where we're at. There's some distances in different areas. When we drop the body, it's going to be gone anyway. But for those of us who want to maybe experience it a little bit more while we're in the body, the best way to do that is to find an effortless stillness or meditation practice. Because what happens when you meditate is all of the stress that gets in the way of love starts to get removed. And sometimes the stress can come up in negative thoughts. Sometimes the stress can come up in anxiety because all of those blocks create negative thoughts. They create anxiety. And so when we meditate, yes, we might feel the stillness. We may have periods of no thought and relaxation, bliss. But we also may have states where thinking, worrying, big emotions. And that's just the process of the meditation clearing out anything that's in the way of being able to love. So it's all good. If you have thoughts in your meditation, it's all good. If you have big emotions in your meditation, it's all good. We don't need to force it. We don't need to focus. We don't need to beat ourselves up if we have one meditation one day where it's quite active or emotional. And so the nature of love is our primordial nature. We can return back to it through meditation and also just through the grace, and it spontaneously opens and we feel connection. But there are things that we can do which can take down the wall and the blocks, which are a semi-mental process. And it can be something like cognitive behavioral therapy, where we look at a thought and we go, this thought isn't a fact. I hate this person. I think I'm better than this person. They shouldn't have done this. We can look at that thought and it might have a feeling connected to it. We go, okay, it's arising. I hate this person. I think I'm better than this person. They shouldn't have done that. And then you can write down. Sometimes it's really helpful to write it down. I hate this person. I think I'm better than this person. They shouldn't have done that. And then we meditate or we leave it. And then we come back the next day. And maybe the thoughts are different the next day. Maybe it's like, well, I don't really hate them. I actually love them. Maybe it's like, actually, I said that to them the other day and they may have reacted because I said that to them. So there's a bit of seeing it from their point of view. And, I'm not really, better than them because, look what I did last month and that was even worse than what they did. And so the mind is fickle. It's so fickle. One day you hate a person, the next day you love a person. Like, which one is it? And when you start writing it down, you realize, oh, I'm actually not my mind or my thoughts, and my thoughts are not facts. And if my thoughts are not facts, I can just look at them from a distance and know that they're changing. And anything that's changing is not connected to unconditional love. Unconditional love is a timeless love. It doesn't come and go. We may connect to it, and it may feel like we're disconnecting temporarily, but actually, it's a fundamental ingredient of the whole universe. And when we drop the body, boom, we're back into unconditional love. Anybody who's had near-death experiences will know that when we drop the body, it feels very blissful and it feels like it's just pure love. And I've had one when I drowned and was resuscitated by my mother, and it was just so blissful. And so we don't need to force it. We don't need to say, I love this person, even though maybe the mind and the body's like, and there's this block. But we can just hold space for knowing that even though there is this block, that block is going to go away. It's going to go away when we drop the body. It might go away when we meditate. It might go away 10 years down the line. We don't need to force it. Sometimes forgiveness takes a lifetime. Sometimes unconditional love only really arises when we start to actually drop our body or have dropped our body. And it's not something we need to be ashamed of. We can just leave a little bit of space in our heart to know that we won't always hate these people or dislike them or feel like we're better than them or feel disconnected. There will be a time when it all dissolves and we will just become blissful love.